In this video, I compare what many consider the best U-boat games available now, U-Boat and Silent Hunter 5. I played both games extensively and the results are in. Set periscope depth and flooded torpedo tubes, Herr Kaleun, as we do a deep dive into these two awesome games to see which game comes out on top. Up first is U-Boat. U-Boat has a good tutorial system that is framed around training your crew. You learn the basics including basic ship systems, navigation, diving, torpedoes, and the deck guns. I found running the ship to be easy. It did take me several missions though to get where I could even sink one ship. I was sunk many times before that, even on the arcade difficulty. The missions were engaging and followed the timeline of the war. In U-Boat, you can upgrade your ship as the war moves on. The more successful you are at completing missions, the more upgrades you can have. This greatly increases satisfaction of sinking submerged ships in the beginning. In U-Boat, there are a ton of things to remember. Getting a proper solution to the target takes practice. In fact, there are fatal consequences to forgetting some seemingly menial tasks. For example, during one game, I left my crew at battle stations and one crew member literally worked himself to death. You have to remember to refill your ballast tanks with air when on the surface, not going too fast with your periscope up, etc. while playing. Next up is Silent Hunter 5. This game was released in early 2010 and has a huge community following. There are tons of mods available for it as well. I did not use any of these during my testing because it seemed like it would be a very hard thing to do with the Steam version of the game. The game starts off with a campaign and the first couple of missions are kind of an introduction on how to control your ship. As I mentioned earlier, I got the Steam version of the game and as of this recording it did not work after installing it. After a quick search online, I found out I had to install an updated version of Ubisoft Connect and register an account. After that, I was finally able to play the game. Controlling my U-Boat was a simple matter of clicking the right button to change my depth, fire torpedoes, and change speed. Navigating the ship, however, was a different story. For me, navigating the ship was a clunky process. Often I had to create a few of the waypoints I needed, then wait for my U-Boat to finish traversing those waypoints before I could zoom out and do some more waypoints. Zooming in and out while creating waypoints created a problem where I would frequently navigate over land and destroy my ship. Even moving the camera around proved to be an ordeal that took some getting used to. I'm not sure if it was that I am just more used to playing U-Boat or what it was. The campaign had cutscenes which gave the story a lot of depth. Also, you can talk to your crew to learn more about them on a personal level. For me, this made the game more engaging. There are also a handful of historical missions which pit your skills in real-world historical missions from the war. As a naval history buff, I really enjoyed this aspect of the game. Silent Hunter 5 also had a multiplayer menu option, but when I tried to play it, the game browse function did not work. This was upsetting because I was really looking forward to testing my captain skills against other captains. Learning to play the game was quick and easy. I was sinking merchant ships in the first mission, which was really satisfying. This was against a stationary target though, which did not help me out on later missions against moving targets. It took me a couple of times to figure out that where I point my periscope is where my torpedo will be heading. There was no waiting for the crew to get a solution in order to fire the torpedo accurately. We have covered both games in all aspects including ship control, missions, and the learning curves. Now let's compare them and see which one is better. Both these games turned out to be great games, but for me they serve different purposes. U-Boat is more of a simulation than Silent Hunter 5. Silent Hunter 5 was great at getting you sinking ships quickly at the cost of being more arcadey. I really didn't like having to search the internet for a fix to get Silent Hunter 5 working out of the box, but in all honesty it was a quick fix. One that didn't seem necessary since it is an offline game. You shouldn't have to register for an online account for an offline game. I really enjoyed the historical missions of Silent Hunter 5. Hopefully this will be added into U-Boat at some point in the future. Another great thing about U-Boat was the ability to upgrade your sub. Some of the upgrades can mean surviving travel long enough to get to your patrol area alive and getting sunk before you ever get there. It is worth noting that U-Boat is still in beta. There are still tons of more features that are in the works like camouflages, emblems, random events, and night battles. So which game would I recommend you get if you're itching to sink merchant ships in World War II? For me the answer was easy. U-Boat won out in everything. It has a complete U-Boat experience and is a ton of fun. Even though there is a bit of a learning curve to the game, it's still fun. Keep in mind that U-Boat is more of a full-featured simulation of a World War II U-Boat. It is sure to give you hours and hours of challenging fun. Silent Hunter 5 has its place if you are not looking for an in-depth simulation and just want to sink merchant ships as quickly as possible.